So, in your experience, because you've done this for many companies, many tech companies around the world, and what are the main reasons you've seen applications fail? Like,
Yeah.
what's the main reason they say no, you're not coming in?
Yes. Um, some of the top reasons for visa denial for a tech company are insufficient investment spending or investment amount. And that goes to what we were talking about earlier, that a lot of these startups, they don't have a lot of startup expenditures. And um, they figure that, okay, well, then let me just give it a shot and apply without a lot of investment or a sufficient investment expenditures. Even though it's technically not, there's no minimum expenditure requirement, these visa officer expects the entrepreneur to make a meaningful, substantial investment spending into the U.S. economy. When you haven't done that and you have early stage startup business, there's a real risk of denial for that reason, inadequate investment or investment spending. Second top reason is denial due to marginality, due to being a marginal enterprise. And what that basically means is the visa officer feels a business is just too small to make any kind of meaningful contribution to the U.S. economy. And there hasn't been enough business development progress to create the confidence that the business will grow to a sufficient size within the next several years to grow out of that marginal enterprise concern. So that's why I typically recommend, especially for smaller startups, that the business develop a little bit to show the ability to acquire customers, to show the ability to generate meaningful revenue and the actual employing of U.S. workers before applying for E2 visa, to reduce the risk of visa denial due to being a marginal enterprise. And the third common reason is the applicant's credible ability, relevant business qualification to successfully manage and grow this business. So typically, I'll recommend applicants to create a business that's somewhat related to their professional experience, their track record, their education, because this is especially important for a startup where a lot of the business success factor will depend on the entrepreneur's personal ability to develop and grow the business into success. So the visa officer will look closely at the applicant's track record in the home country. Have you done this kind of business in your home country? And if you have, this is a balancing act. If you've been running a tech company, software development company in your home country, that's fantastic. It shows that you have the experience, right? However, got to be careful about that. If your home country business is operating at a very small scale, one person operation, a very small team, not very profitable, then that could backfire, because if you're really pushing that, I've been doing this for 20 years, a visa officer could look at that and be like, great, show me your tax returns, your payroll record, how big and the size and scale of your foreign tech company, and I'm going to compare that to the potential of the U.S. company. So got to be careful and balance that. Like, if you do have a company abroad, you show that you have experience. But if the foreign company is relatively small, don't push it too far. Distinguish it that, okay, my foreign business was small because I did it intentionally to keep it small, but my intention for the U.S. enterprise is totally different. I'm going to do it differently.
Do you think also when you try to come to the US with a very common business idea, for example, you want to bring in, I'm just saying this because maybe I'm wrong, but you're bringing a web development company. You want to create web pages for people.
Yeah.
That could be something that gets in the way as well.
Creating web, certainly
So
web
when
development
you
company.
create something that is widely available.
Oh, I see. Yeah. So the type of tech company, the type of services you provide does make a difference. They'll, especially for startup where you don't have the proven financial success yet, and they'll look at, like, what is the market you're going into? How competitive is your business? If the industry is saturated with this service, and how are you going to distinguish yourself? What is your competitive advantage to be successful in the United States? That all factors into the evaluation and the determination of the probability of success of the business. So If the business is going into a very competitive space and the service is a little bit generic, that could be a problem. The business plan, for example, really has to emphasize the unique selling proposition of the business. How is it going to distinguish itself? Do they have a unique product, service, technology? Do they have other advantages into like servicing certain expertise in particular industries? Really need to showcase that in the business plan.
I'm glad to hear that that's important. Your to-go tip for the people that is ready for an E2 visa, what will be the best tip you can give them right now?
I've seen these mistakes over my 25 years experience so far. Sometimes applicants, and it's not their fault, they don't know the legal requirements or E2 visa nuances and complexities. They'll go ahead and set up the business, invest their money, and I'll discover the fund source is not qualifying. And the money's already spent. So it's a situation where I cannot reverse what was already done. And we have to start all over again. All the effort, time, money, and energy possibly wasted. Get the right advice. Do it right the first time.